A new episode for WandaVision is here. It gave us a lot of answers, but also a lot of questions. So let's talk about it. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Arjun and I love talking about movies, TV, and WandaVision obviously. So, I've been loving this show for a while. I thought the first two episodes, they were good, they were enjoyable. From episodes 3 to 6, they've all been pretty amazing. Like, I think I've really enjoyed them. I really got invested into the story, and the intrigue has been building up more and more. So I went into episode 7 expecting it to be even better than all of them, because the episodes were, almost all of them have been better than the one that came before. And that says a lot, because most TV shows right now are not like that. So I went into this one expecting it to be the best of the bunch. Well, did it pay off? Let's get started talking about my general thoughts. So like I said, I thought each episode was getting better than the one that came before. And the last two episodes, episodes 5 and episode 6, I loved those two. I thought those two were top tier, and I was expecting this one to be just as good. But unfortunately, I feel like this one kind of fell in the mid-tier category. It wasn't as good, but it wasn't bad either. It was just right there in the middle. So I was kind of disappointed because of that, because I was expecting it to be amazing, and it was just good. So I thought that was a bit disappointing for me, and some of the reasons for that is that I feel like the style of breaking the fourth wall and talking to the audience, I feel like it didn't work for this series, because this show is already very wacky and weird, and that just kind of adds to that and makes it even more weird, and I feel like it doesn't work in the context of this show. Another reason is because I didn't love the humor here. There was no moment throughout this entire episode where I was laughing out loud, because every single episode, even episodes 1 and 2, which I didn't love, those two really had moments where I was laughing. But here, I feel like the humor fell flat. I wasn't laughing. So that was another issue I had. And I had many speculations. I was expecting, so there was a lot of stuff being set up. And I was expecting this one person to be this one character. And I was expecting some things to go a different direction. But they went somewhere else. So I was expecting some huge reveals. But we didn't get those because, we had so much time between the past episodes. We had like an entire week from the last episode. So I was speculating, who could this person be? What could happen in this case? And those didn't happen. So part of that's my fault. It's because I had high expectations. But, I was still disappointed, which is kind of the reason I didn't love this one as much as the last two. So unfortunately, I don't think this one was as good. But overall, it was still, like I said, a good episode. It wasn't awesome. It wasn't bad. It was right there in the middle. It was good. So with that done, now let's move into my spoiler review. So if you haven't seen the episode, go watch it, come back, and then watch this video, because I'm going to be talking full-on spoilers. So with that said, let's do this. This episode kind of has The Office vibe. I haven't seen The Office, but I know what it feels like. I saw some of it, so I know it a little bit. So it kind of has that kind of vibe with the opening and all of that. So I thought that was really cool. I thought that was well done. So this episode starts out with Wanda in quarantine. So I thought that was kind of funny because we're in quarantine right now. So basically everything, her reality, it's falling apart. The video games the kids are playing, it's all turning weird and all of that. So they come to Wanda and they ask her for help to fix everything, and then she's like, I'm resting my eyes, leave, blah blah blah. So stuff like that happens. It's kind of funny, and then she comes downstairs after resting her eyes. And then they start talking about Pietro and how in the last episode he said that Vision was dead and all that. So we start getting intense over there, and then Wanda, she says that don't listen to him, he wasn't your uncle, don't believe anything he said. So right there we start to see some tension, and after that I wanted to know who Pietro really was. We'll get into that later. So we really have some tension going on over there. And then Agnes shows up, and then she says she'll take the kids, and then Wanda can have some time to herself. So I thought that was kind of weird right over there. I was like, why does Agnes want the kids? So she comes in, she takes the kids, and then she leaves. And after that, one of the main plots going around in this episode is Monica Rambeau and her powers, because in the comics, she was a superhero. She was basically kind of like Captain Marvel. And in this episode, we get to see a glimpse of that. So basically, we have her and Jimmy Woo. Obviously, they're driving a van kind of thing, a sword van. And then they go to this place where they meet the person that they were talking about in the past 2 episodes. So Monica Rambeau, she knows someone who can help her get into the hex, the thing Wanda's created. So they've been talking about that for the past 2 episodes. And because it was an aerospace engineer, I thought that was Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four. But apparently it wasn't. It was just some random sword agent that Monica knows. This was one of the things that I was disappointed about, because they were kind of building this up like it was some big reveal or something, and it just ends up being some random person. So this was kind of the reason I was disappointed in this episode, but it was just one of the smaller parts. So I wish Mr. Fantastic did show up. That would have been very cool to see, but we didn't see that, unfortunately. But still, it happened. And after that, we have Monica. She uses the truck thing, whatever she gets, to get back into the hex. She tries, but it doesn't work. So she gets out of the truck, and then she tries to go in herself. And that's where everything starts to get weird and all that. And then feels like her body's kind of like falling apart as she's going inside. And kind of like Vision's was, except it looks even worse because she's still trying to go in. Vision already came out, but here her body's disintegrating inside of the barrier, which was very weird. But then somehow she gets out, and then her eyes are blue. So I feel like this was kind of like the sign of her superpowers, showing up. I thought that was really well done, actually. I thought it looked very cool, and the scene itself, with the visual effects and everything, were done great. So I thought that was very cool. And then we also have this week episode's commercial. So here it's about something called Nexus. So basically it's about like escaping reality or creating a new one or something like that. So far every single ad has been about Wanda's past and the Infinity Stones. So this one is obviously has something to do with the reality. So it's the Reality Stone. That's the resemblance. And then when it comes to Wanda, I wasn't 100% sure about this when I saw it, but after thinking about it, she created her own reality where, everything's happening. So it says escape a reality or create one or something like that. And then she created her own reality. So it has something to do with Wanda, and it has something to do with an Infinity Stone. So that's this week episode's commercial. So another plot we have happening in this episode is with Darcy and with Vision. So basically they meet at some sort of carnival festival type of thing, and then they think Vision's playing a clown and then Darcy's playing another character. So they escape from there using a truck or something, and then they talk about Vision's past, and Vision just asks Darcy questions and she answers them. So there's some fun stuff going on over there. Vision learns about how he died twice and how he was born in Age of Ultron. Thought that was kind of fun to watch happen and all of that. So over there, we have Vision. When they're going across the road, there's like always something stopping them from moving along. They think that Wanda's doing it. I wasn't sure who was doing it. I'll talk about it again at the end of this conversation. So basically we have something like that happening. There's a bunch of things happening that don't let them go. So Vision, he just wants to leave, so he just, uses his thing where he could just move through objects and then just flies away. And then Darcy just says, all right, fine, I'll come back later or something like that. And then that part of the episode ends. And then we cut to Monica, and she is going to Wanda's house, and she tries to explain to her what Hayward's doing, he's trying to kill Wanda, and he's destroying Westview. And so we have that back and forth between those two characters, and Wanda's just not taking it. She does not want Monica around, so she uses her powers on her. And then she kind of tries to drop her on the ground, and then Monica uses her own powers to land safely. So that's where we start to see Monica's powers develop even more. And then Agnes sees everything that's going on. She shows up, she stops the fight, she tells Monica to leave, and then she takes Wanda and goes to her house. And after that, we have our big reveal of the episode. So Wanda goes into Agnes's house, and when she's there, she notices that the kids aren't there. Agnes says that they're in the basement. Wanda goes to check, and as she's going downstairs, there's this eerie music playing, and it just feels so suspenseful. And then the place, the setting, all of it looks so scary and dark. And as she goes downstairs, we have just this weird setting, so a weird place. And then Agnes shows up, and she says, "Hello, dear. The name's Agatha Harkness. Did you really think you're the only witch here?" or something like that. And that was a crazy reveal. I mean, I knew she was Agatha Harkness. I mean, that was the biggest speculation going around on the internet about WandaVision. So that's what I was expecting to happen as well, just not in this episode. So it kind of came out of nowhere, but it was very, very cool, and I really liked the reveal there. And then after that, we have this fun little intro type thing playing for Agnes herself, where she is I think it's called "It Was Agnes All Along." It was kind of a funny song. And then at the end of it, she says, "I also killed Sparky," and that's it. It was a really cool reveal, the most unexpected time. So I really enjoyed that. And then obviously the biggest villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe showed up. But after that, we have a post-credit scene. So here, basically what's happening is we have Monica Rambeau. She goes to check in Agnes's house in her basement, what's going on. She opens the door, and then Pietro shows up. Well, the X-Men Pietro. And then he says, I forgot what he says. I think he says something like, "Snooper's gonna stop," or something. And then and then it ends. And then the episode actually ends. So, what do I think of all of this? Like I said, I thought this was a good episode. I enjoyed it for what it was. Like I said, I had problems with the humor and the style of the episode, but overall it was still enjoyable. I thought it did give us story elements. I thought the reveal was really good. And where do I think it's gonna go? I don't know. Literally, I have no idea. This show, it had 7 episodes, but I still have no idea where the show is gonna go. I can't predict anything because most likely it's gonna be wrong. So there's just so much going on in this series. I'm loving it, guys. Be sure to tell me what you thought of this episode down below in the comments. I personally enjoyed it. Like I said, I had problems, but it was a good episode. So be sure to tell me what you thought, and if you enjoyed my review, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more content, and I'll see you next time. Bye.